The case presented in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom this week has drawn widespread attention due to the unusual combination of personal conflict, medical hardship, and questions of familial responsibility placed under public scrutiny. The proceedings involved a middle-aged woman undergoing active treatment for cancer and her adult son who, according to court testimony and available records, had been accused of mocking or minimizing her condition during a dispute that eventually escalated into a legal matter. The courtroom exchange, captured on standard municipal court recording equipment, has since formed the basis for broader discussions regarding caregiving obligations, intergenerational expectations, and the legal boundaries surrounding familial respect. According to documents submitted to the court, the woman, identified as a longtime resident of the city with no prior legal conflicts, had been undergoing chemotherapy for a metastatic cancer diagnosis that had been confirmed approximately 9 months prior. Medical statements filed with the clerk's office indicate that the treatment regimen involved a combination of intravenous therapy and radiation, requiring frequent visits to local medical facilities. Financial disclosures also show that she had limited income and had been relying partly on state-supported health services. The son, identified in court as a 28-year-old self-employed entrepreneur with recently reported earnings that classified him within the top income tier of the region, was summoned after a civil complaint was filed concerning an incident that took place at the family's shared property. Reports indicate that an argument had begun over unpaid municipal citations related to a vehicle registered under the mother's name but primarily used by the son. When the mother requested assistance in resolving the accumulated fines, the son responded in a manner that she described as dismissive and disrespectful. The complaint stated that he had made remarks that minimized the seriousness of her illness, resulting in significant interpersonal strain and leading to the involvement of local authorities when the dispute interfered with neighborhood safety or public order. During the hearing, Judge Caprio asked both parties to provide a detailed account of the circumstances leading up to the municipal violation and the interpersonal disagreement connected to it. Court transcripts indicate that the mother explained her limitations in managing administrative responsibilities due to the physical effects of chemotherapy, including fatigue, treatment-related illness, and difficulty fulfilling in-person obligations. She also clarified that the fines had accumulated without her knowledge because the vehicle was primarily driven by her son, who had not addressed the violations in a timely manner. The son acknowledged using the vehicle but disputed the characterization of his comments, stating that his remarks had been taken out of context or exaggerated. However, when questioned about his awareness of his mother's medical condition, he confirmed that he had been informed of her diagnosis and treatment schedule. Judge Caprio then requested clarification on whether the son had made any financial contributions toward the fines or toward his mother's medical-related transportation needs. The son reported that he had not, citing personal business expenses and other financial priorities. Financial records reviewed during the hearing, however, showed that the son's business had generated substantial revenue in the previous fiscal year. These figures, paired with his lack of contribution to the fines or household expenses, became relevant in assessing the legitimacy of the dispute. Judge Caprio noted that while the court's jurisdiction was limited to matters involving municipal violations, the underlying family conflict was directly affecting the city's enforcement processes. He therefore examined the case from the standpoint of whether the party responsible for the violations had acted with reasonable diligence. The courtroom recording shows Judge Caprio asking the son to explain why, despite having financial capability, he had not taken steps to resolve the citations earlier. The son offered a series of logistical justifications, including a claimed lack of notice and misunderstandings regarding vehicle registration responsibilities. Court officials countered that multiple physical notices had been mailed to the residents, and several were still on file. These notices included penalties for late payment and warnings that additional enforcement actions could be taken. The mother stated that because of her illness she had difficulty managing household paperwork and had assumed her son, as the primary user of the vehicle, would handle the fines promptly. She added that the incident leading to the courtroom appearance occurred after she requested that he reimburse or assist her in addressing the penalties, at which point the argument escalated. Neighbors had contacted authorities due to concerns about noise and potential escalation, though no criminal charges were filed. Throughout the proceedings, Judge Caprio reiterated that his goal was to determine the legal responsibility for the fines rather than to resolve personal grievances. However, he also noted that in situations involving shared households and shared vehicles, cooperation between family members is critical for avoiding municipal complications. He emphasized that the city's interest was in ensuring compliance with traffic regulations and timely payment of fines, regardless of internal family dynamics. The mother presented documentation confirming her inability to drive during her treatment period, supported by medical statements that described significant side effects affecting mobility. This evidence helped establish that she could not have been responsible for the violations. The son ultimately conceded that he had been using the vehicle during all relevant periods. When asked to confirm whether he understood that the fines legally followed the vehicle owner regardless of who was driving, he acknowledged that he did. Judge Caprio then reviewed the timeline of the violations, including the dates, locations, and nature of the offenses. Most citations involved routine parking violations, expired meters, and infractions related to posted signage. The court noted that none of the violations involved hazardous driving behavior, but the accumulation of fines and late fees had resulted in a sum significantly higher than the original penalties. In determining a resolution, Judge Caprio evaluated the mother's medical condition, financial limitations, and lack of involvement in accruing the violations. He also evaluated the son's financial capacity and acknowledgement of vehicle usage. The court found that the son's explanations did not account for his failure to address the fines before they escalated and that he bore primary responsibility. As part of the procedural outcome, the son was ordered to assume full financial responsibility for the outstanding fines and associated late fees. Judge Caprio emphasized that the ruling was based solely on the documented facts of vehicle usage, notice records, and the legal obligations of the individual who effectively controlled the vehicle at the time of the violations. He clarified that the court's decision did not extend to evaluating familial behavior beyond what affected municipal compliance. During the hearing, the public recording captured an exchange in which Judge Caprio asked the son whether he understood the burden placed on his mother due to her medical condition. While the judge avoided interpretive or judgmental language, he stated that factual acknowledgement of her health limitations was important for accurate legal assessment. The son provided brief acknowledgement but did not elaborate further. Observers noted that the proceedings reflected broader patterns seen in the municipal court system, where personal hardship and family conflict occasionally intersect with administrative violations. Legal analysts have pointed out that cases involving chronic illness often require additional context to determine responsibility. Under municipal code, individuals who are not the primary drivers of a vehicle but are its legal owners remain liable unless the responsible user is clearly identified. In this case, the record clearly established the son as the primary user, enabling the court to redirect the financial obligation appropriately. The mother confirmed during the hearing that she did not intend to pursue further civil action and that her primary goal was to resolve the outstanding municipal penalties. She stated that the public nature of the incident was unintended and that her focus remained on continuing her medical treatment. Hospital documentation submitted to the court indicated that her next treatment cycle was scheduled within days of the hearing, which contributed to Judge Caprio's decision to expedite the ruling. Following the conclusion of the proceedings, the court issued a standard written judgment summarizing the findings. The ruling included an order for the son to pay the fines in full, either immediately or through an approved payment plan. The mother was absolved of financial responsibility for the violations. There were no additional sanctions imposed on either party, as no criminal acts were associated with the incident. Legal experts reviewing the case have noted that the outcome aligns with established precedents for municipal violations involving shared households. While interpersonal dynamics between family members occasionally become visible during hearings, the court's obligation remains grounded in factual responsibility and documented evidence. In this instance, the ruling was consistent with the underlying principles governing vehicle-related penalties. The case also prompted renewed public interest in the broader role of municipal courts in mediating disputes that originate from family interactions but ultimately affect public administration. Court officials reiterated that while they may occasionally address interpersonal context for clarity, the primary mandate is the enforcement of municipal law. As the hearing concluded, Judge Caprio thanked both parties for providing detailed accounts and emphasized the importance of maintaining accurate vehicle registration and payment of fines to avoid future complications. The mother exited the courtroom accompanied by medical support personnel, while the son met briefly with a clerk to discuss payment arrangements. The court did not issue further comment, and the case was formally closed in accordance with municipal procedure.